Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. From the title of the video, we already know what the video is about. I'm going to be showing us how to fill a Schengen visa application form, especially if you're a student. The visa application form is one of the documents required of you to submit when you're applying for a Schengen visa, especially as a student. So I'm just going to show us what to do, um, the information that you need to write down, or the information that is required of you to fill in. So let's get right into this. You can download this form. I'm going to put a link on where I downloaded this form in the description box. For the first question, surname, that's the family name. Of course, you just have to write down what your family name is. Then for number two, surname at birth, former family name. This is for the married ladies or women. If you have a your surname when you were still unmarried, let's say when you were still unmarried, you were bearing Upi, and then after marriage, you took your husband's surname, which is now Okafor, for instance. So that is, you write your former surname here, which is Obi in number two, and your current surname now in marriage, which is Okafor in number one. That's just what is required. Then number three, first names. Most of us from Nigeria have three names: a first name, an English name or a middle name, and then a surname. So what you're required of here to write is your first name. Most people in Nigeria have their native name as their first name, so you just write that down. Number four, date of birth. Basically, write your date of birth. For number three, you can also include your first name and your middle name. For instance, when I was filling in the form, that was what I did. I included my first name and my middle name. Since they didn't give a space for me to include my middle name, I just wrote my first name space, then my middle name for number three. Number four, your date of birth. You have to write the day you were born, the month, and the year. Five, place of birth. Of course, write that down. So number six, your country of birth. Then you fill in your current nationality. For number seven, your current nationality. If you have a different nationality at birth, you write that down. Other nationalities, if you have other nationality, also write that down. Your sex, you just have to tick if you're male or female. Actually, I didn't fill this form by hand. I used this software they call Dogfly. That was what I use. I mean, it makes it neater, easier. So if you have any PDF editing software on your system, or rather any PDF editing app on your system that is going to help you fill this form, easily, and you're going to be able to download it for free, then please go ahead and do that. I use Dogfly. It allows you to fill and download forms for as in three times for free in a month. So that was what I used. um Number nine, indicate if you're single or you're married or divorced. Just have to tick the one that concerns you. Number 10, parental authority in case of minor. If you're a minor less than 18 years, of course, your guardian or your parents have to write their surname, their first name, and address, and also the telephone number. Number 11, national identity number where applicable. For those of you applying from Nigeria, of course, we have the national identity number, which is your name. Just write that here. Number 12, type of travel document. Most people use the ordinary passport, but if you have the diplomatic passport, service passport, whatever one that suits you, you tick. But most people use the ordinary passport. Number 13, number of travel document. Just have to write the number you have on your passport. Date of issue, everything is on that biometric page. So you just have to look at it and then write the information down. Number 15, valid until when Until when is that passport valid? Issued by the country. Just write the country. So for those of us that have family members in the EU, if you have a family member in the EU or EEA, then go ahead and fill out their details. But if you do not have any family member over there, you just have to skip. You don't have to write anything here. Just have to skip. You don't have to write anything here. But personally, for me, I indicated not applicable. That's N/A. You can choose to indicate um N/A or just leave it as it is, blank. The next section for number 20, residence in a country other than the country of current nationality. If you're a resident in another country other from where you currently are or your current nationality, then you indicate yes or no. If yes, then you have to write your residence permit number and the validity, valid until when. Now you have to write your current occupation. If you work, then you have to um write the title of your job. If you're a student, just indicate student. That's just it. Then for 22, employer and employer's address and telephone number. For students, name and address of educational facility. Of course, if you work, you have to write your employer's address and telephone number and the name. If you're a student, just write your school information, your school address and name, and that's just it. 23, purpose of the journey. What are you filling the form for? Are you going for tourism, for business, for study? Just tick the one that applies to you. 24, additional information on purpose of stay. For those of us that are traveling on the basis of study, you can just, for me, I just indicated that I was going for my study in the name of my school, and then I wrote down the course I was going to study. Just something very short. Two sentences is okay. You can write the name of your school, where you got the admission, and then the course you're going to study. 25, member states of main destination and other member states of destination if applicable. Member states of main destination, just wrote Malta. That's where I'm going to. 26, member states of first entry, definitely Malta. Like, number of entries requested. I actually ticked the multiple entries, but when I got my visa, I only got, the visa was just for single entry. So I don't know why I wasn't given the multiple entries, even though I ticked that, but I eventually got the single entry. The single entry, the difference between the single, two entry and multiple entry means that for the single entry, let's say my destination is Malta, that visa can only take me straight to Malta. Once I enter Malta, I cannot leave Malta on that visa, because if I do leave, I cannot re-enter. That's, of course, it's a 3 months visa. So once I make the travel and I arrive Malta, if for any reason I leave Malta within that 3 months when the visa is still valid, I cannot re-enter. Even if I leave when it's still valid, I cannot re-enter because it's just a single entry. For two entries mean within the 3 months, I can arrive Malta, travel to another country, out of Malta, and then I can enter again just 2 times. I can only enter 2 times. For multiple entries, I can leave Malta, maybe travel to Germany, travel to another Schengen country, and enter multiple times into Malta, like more than 2 times, as long as it is still within the validity of the visa, which is usually 3 months. That's just the difference between the single, two entries, and multiple entries. So let's bear that in mind. 27, intended date of arrival of the first intended stay in the Schengen area. Of course, this should be the dates you have on your travel itinerary or your flight reservation when you intend to arrive. Let's say you're coming from Nigeria and your flight is taking off from Nigeria on the 15th of January, but then you're expected to land on the 16th of January. Then your first intended stay in the Schengen area, which is Malta, if Malta is your destination, is going to be on the 16th when you actually arrive Malta. Intended date of departure from the Schengen area after the first intended stay. Just write a date. And this date should be when the dates that you actually intend to leave after your graduation. For me, I just wrote the dates like 2 or 3 days after I'm supposed to graduate. Because my master's program is for a year. So I just like gave 2 or 3 days after my 1 year program must have, you know, expired, or I must have graduated. That was the date I imputed here. So that's what you should write there. Fingerprints collected previously for the purpose of applying for a Schengen visa. If you've applied before and you've done your biometrics, or any your fingerprint has been collected previously, then please indicate the date and the visa sticker number if you know. 29. Entry permits for the final country of destination where applicable. If your final destination is you need a permit to actually arrive there, and you have the permit, of course you have to indicate that, when who issued it, valid from when until when. You just put that information down. Surname and first name of the inviting persons in the member states. If not applicable, name of hotel or temporary accommodations in the member states. So now, for the students, if your school has a hostel and you intend staying in the school hostel, please by all means write down you're going to be staying in the hostel. Let's say the name of your school is ABC University. You just write it down. Hostel of ABC University. You can write the address, and that's just it. You just write, indicate that it's for the school. And if you're a student and you intend staying with a family member who is inviting you to stay with them while you study, please go ahead to write their first name and their surname. If you intend staying in a hotel, go ahead and write the name of the hotel. If you already have an accommodation you've rented, then please go ahead and put down the information of the accommodation that you've rented. 30. Address and email address of inviting persons, hotels or temporary accommodation. Of course, go ahead and write the address, the email. If it's for school hostel, go ahead and write the address and the email. If it's someone that you're staying over with, go ahead and write the information, their telephone number, name and address of inviting company or organization. If it's your school, like I said, go ahead and write the name of the school and the address. If it's a friend or a family member you're going to, definitely go on and still write the name and the address of the accommodation. If it is a hotel, go ahead and write the name and the address. 31. Surname, first name, address, telephone number and email address of contact person of company, organization. Of course, this kind of sounds repetitive, but you just have to go on and just fill it out. It's almost the same thing. Go on and fill it all out. Number of organization, go on and write it. Cost of traveling and living during the applicant stay is covered. Now, this is a new section by the applicant. If you're sponsoring yourself, by the applicant himself or herself, then please tick this. Means of support. How are you sponsoring yourself? Are you sponsoring yourself by cash, or a traveler's check, or a credit card, or do you have a prepaid accommodation or prepaid transport or others? For me, of course, I ticked cash and I tick others. These others, I just wrote bank statements beneath here, because of course that is my like how I was able to prove my funds. So if you have a traveler's check, then please tick that. If you have a prepaid accommodation, tick that. But if what you have is just cash, because definitely you're going to be traveling with cash no matter how little, and then your bank statement, then tick that. But then if you have a sponsor, if you're not sponsoring yourself, then you have a sponsor. For these other options on the right, by a sponsor, that's host, company, organization, please specify. So if someone is sponsoring you, let's say your husband or someone else, a family member, or is an organization or a company, please this tick the first one. Then this one, refer to in field 30 or 31. Let's see what they say in field 30 or 31. So field 30 is talking about the surname and first name of the inviting person. Of course, if you tick that someone is sponsoring you, a host or company or organization, then please make sure you fill in their correct details in field 30 or in 31. Then other, please specify. If you have any other thing you want to specify, or you feel the person sponsoring you is not included in these options, host, company, or organization, if there is any other information you just want to let them know, then tick on other, and then you can use the little space available to explain what you would want to explain and just specify. Means of support, how is this person or your sponsor sponsoring you? Is it by cash? Is it by accommodation provided, or all expenses covered during the stay, or prepaid transport, or others? So if your sponsor is sponsoring you by cash or accommodation, please tick. If everything applies, tick all: cash, accommodation, and all expense covered. If you have other things the person is sponsoring you with, then tick that and specify. Then after that, you just have to read all this. Where of course you have to read everything that is written here, so that you be sure you're doing the right thing and you know what you're asked of to do. And that's it. Place and date. You just write where you are. If you're in Nigeria, if you're applying from India, whatever country you're applying from, you just write the country, and then you write the dates, then you sign here, and that's it. Signature of parental authority or legal guidance. For people that are under 18, the your legal guardian will have to sign. But if not, then go ahead and just sign here. Like I said, I use the Docfly. If you have any other app or software that will allow you do this for free, go ahead and fill it. I hope I've been able to explain every bit of this application form and how to fill it. The first time when I filled it, I actually found some of the questions a bit confusing, but I had to research on YouTube, watch a lot of videos, and I got to feeling the right thing. I understood everything I had to do, and I went on with it. So if you've watched to this point, thank you very much. If you have further questions, please ask me in the comment section. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And see you in my next video. Bye.